Hello, everyone, and welcome to Botcast. I'm your host, Mansa, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Suman Saurabh, a transformational enthusiast and a seasoned leader in the industry. Currently working as a Vice President of Technology Services at Genpact. Suman, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Mansa. Thank you for inviting me here, and it's wonderful to be on your show. So, just to give a brief introduction about myself, I am a BTech passed out from IIT Kanpur, and post that I have around 13 years of experience in various domains and industries like supply chain, fintech, edtech, these kinds of stuff. And thereafter, I pivoted my career into management. I did my MBA from Indian School of Business. And currently, I'm the Vice President of Technology Services in Genpact. I'm looking after various strategic and transformational level initiatives in one of their verticals and trying to make my mark there.
So, my first question to you is around leadership and strategy. So, Suman, you have had an impressive career in leadership and strategy. As a seasoned leader, could you share some key strategies you believe have been essential in driving business transformation and enhancing productivity?
Yeah, sure. So, thanks for the question. And because I had this opportunity to drive various initiatives in my earlier organization and current organization as well. I think, in my own humble experience, I would like to point out in terms of three major factors when it comes to leadership and strategy. I'd like to put it as PPT, not exactly your Microsoft PPT, but it is people, process, and technology. So, when it comes to designing some strategies as a leader for some business transformation, people are your strengths. So, basically, you as a leader, you need to have that empathy and emotional intelligence to deal with people, not only to leverage their strengths, but also grow them as the future leader. So anything and everything you do has to have a people centric attitude, whether it is your own people or whether it is customers. The second point is about the processes. So whatever transformation or whatever business value addition you plan to do in any of the process, you actually need to start with challenging the status quo, right? So you need to make those fundamental assumptions. You need to actually think from the very first principle, basically work upon the smallest of the smallest changes in the processes. So that's about my second point. And the third would, as all of us know, in these changing times, technology is a great enabling factor. T stands for technology. So I primarily am very, very supportive of using technology as the enabler to solve the problems for our business, for our people. So, yeah, that way is I'd like to put it.
And I've noticed you have been involved in discussions around AI and generative AI extensively. How do you see the integration of AI and generative AI shaping the future of industries now? And what role do you envision it playing in driving sustainable growth?
So, Mansa, these are one of the very unprecedented times wherein technologies are changing pretty fast. This is we all are witnessing one of the fastest changing times in the history of mankind, I believe. And AI and Gen AI, so as to say, is one of the pivotal pillars as we see it in transforming various businesses, whether it is healthcare, whether it is supply chain, whether it is entertainment or education. So it has a kind of all pervasive impact as I see it. But the only hitch being that we need to actually carve out strategies in a way to design our business value that enhances customer centricity, which is very much focused for the people and which has its various unfair element like your biases, the overfitting issues of Gen AI or AI as such, or the ethical compliances which we all know. So these are some of the some of the caveats I would like to put in, which could be taken along so as to actually use or leverage this particular technology for the various sectors. The second part of your question goes around sustainable growth. So I think AI and deep learning algorithms, large language models, one of the instance. I think we can make the best use of it to actually uh, provide a sustainable growth to any of the functions, taking along the environment as well. Maybe you can design some effluent treatment plant which kind of caters to less of pollution and more of inclusiveness of the environment and things like that. So I think taking this particular technology in the right spirit, making all these precautions, I think in the long run we have a great future with this technology impacting the industries at a sustainably large level.
Moving on to the next industry segment, which is supply chain innovation. Your expertise in supply chain management is quite impressive, Suman. What emerging technologies do you believe hold the most promise in revolutionizing supply chain process?
So yeah, thanks for that question, because I have been into this industry for considerably longer period. I was there for 10 years with ONGC, designing and working with all these supply chain processes, right from sourcing strategies to logistics. And I think given my background of business, as far as I see, supply chain at this stage is at a cusp wherein we are talking about something called resiliency in supply chain. We are talking about sustainability in supply chain. We are talking about integration in supply chain. So, supply chain design flexibility is something which many organizations are putting their emphasis upon. So, in that context, I believe there are ample technologies available right now, be it your blockchain, which kind of helps in knowing the provenance of the products, which is very very essential for the supply chain manager. Besides that, we have this generative AI, which is very very important for all the stakeholders to actually bringing in the right value and products to the customers in real time. So when we talk about supply chain, it is all about your real-time inventory management. It is all about managing the large SKUs without having any glut or without having any stock out. So basically avoiding these your supply chain bottlenecks. So in that case, I think all these technologies like blockchain, generative AI, Internet of Things, metaverse, all these technologies have a great future for carving out an altogether different scenario of integrated and flexible design for the supply chain.
It's clear that technology is shaping the business world, but how can companies strike the right balance between leveraging advanced technology and still valuing human expertise?
At the end of the day, I think AI is, or for that matter, any technology is one of the tools to solve the problems for the larger human race, right? So, human in the loop, as we call it, we have to have a human intelligence associated with your technologies like generative AI to minimize all these adverse consequences, right? So even if you see, so just for your viewers, if you talk about GPT, so what is GPT? GPT is generative pre-trained transformers, right? Transformer is nothing but a kind of your deep learning algorithms, neural networks basically. And when you talk about these generative adversarial networks, and when you talk about these generatives and discriminatives, then basically somewhere or the other human comes into the picture, right? So even if you train for the large amounts of data, even if you have the higher cloud computing power, you need a human to actually assess the ethics of this technology, whether it is infringing some human rights, whether it is going against some IPR thing, right? And human touch, even if you come to any of the sectors, I think human touch is very, very essential. So you need these humans. So as someone rightly said that probably AI will not replace you in the long run, but a human who knows AI might. So in that case, I think human is a very, very integral part of the whole ecosystem. And the future era is not about the IT innovation, it is about the ecosystem innovation. So in that case, I think even if all these technologies are integrated, whatever I have just uttered in the last question, we still need human in the loop to actually come up with all these creative ideas, all these unstructured data. See, technology can do very well with your particular domain. It can learn one particular process from the scratch and maybe even beat human in that. But technology cannot think. So maybe with all these trainings and everything on the for the large language models, we are actually trying to bridge that gap. But eventually we are trying to foresee an era wherein general purpose technology would evolve, that would need human monitoring as something which would lead to a larger business value for the people.
Rightly said. Now, moving on to our last question. Suman, how can generative AI be utilized to create personalized and engaging marketing campaigns that truly resonate with customers?
Generative AI has its impact in almost all the domains as I foresee it, but talking particularly about marketing, I think at every stage, right from generating your leads to collection of the data around people and then actually customizing your product to reach your target segment, making some compelling visual campaigns for the people, doing some dynamic kind of an advertising which actually takes responses from the people and then adjusts itself to cater to the particular segment. As we know that the marketing fundamentals is all about STP, the segmentation, targeting and positioning. So I think generative AI has a capability to actually reach to the targeted segment, whether it is your email marketing, whether it is making blogs, visuals, etc., getting to the roots, right? So we are talking about in these days all these click through rate and all these parameters and metrics, right? So we gone are the days wherein we used to spend a lot on the billboards and then we could get some customers. Today is the age of predictive marketing, today is the age of targeted marketing, today is the age of converting all these three V's around the data, the volume, velocity, right, variety, into the value for the customer. So I think the future of marketing is great with all these technologies.
Thank you so much, Suman, for sharing your valuable insights on these topics. It's been an enlightening conversation. I have never encountered an individual with such a diverse array of experiences spanning over various functions and industries. Do you have any parting words for our audience?
Thank you, Mansa, again for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to share whatever small experience I've had. Uh, I just would like to congratulate you guys for doing this wonderful work of bringing the awareness and technology to the larger segment. I think, as I mentioned earlier as well, it's we are living in an age wherein we are seeing disruptions everywhere, right? So we need to be a bit cautious. I would use the term just for the lack of a better word, but I think this disruption, you won't know where it's gonna be. So I mean, just an example comes to my mind that when computer was first used, so actually the mathematical uh, cost got cheaper, and then this computer was used to disrupt your photographic industry. All of us know the story of Kodak, which has nothing to do with mathematics, right? So it's just for us to see and be vigilant about how this technology, how can we adapt to this technology, grow our own capability, understand our business objective, and align our capability to add value to the lives of people. So yeah, that's about it. And thank you again for having me out here.
Thank you so much for the kind words. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us on this episode of podcast. Remember to stay tuned for more conversations that matter. Until next time.